Hello everyone, my name is TM Craze, and today I kind of want to just go over my thoughts on Season 5. I'll kind of briefly go over the release notes, the stuff that I think really matters because I don't really care for the cosmetic stuff, Susano, and then also the balance changes that are coming with Season 5 that I kind of have a few issues with. I figured I should at least do one of these considering that I'm uploading a bunch to my YouTube and stuff. You know, more content stuff. So, let's start off with some of the other update stuff in quotes that they just kind of addended to the bottom here. Season Pass EXP earnable in ranked matches has increased. This is good. It's always nice to, level your battle pass better. Range adjustments in ranked matches for players ranked gold 2 or lower when they lose. I don't particularly know what this means, but I'm assuming that you gain more and you'll lose less in gold 2. I'm assuming so. I'm not entirely sure how that works. But this is still a good change. Order of achievement tiles has been changed. I don't know what that means. Susano tile has been added. And, you know, big thing here for consoles and their whole competitive scene. Custom matches can now be played on the home console version. Which means that in the future, if anybody wanted to host tournaments for the console version of Gundam Evolution, they now can. Which has been a long time coming, considering that the PC version has had first the Gen series, Gen Breakout series, and now the Crosshair Invitational League. Crosshair Invitational League. Kind of slur my words a little. Please forget that. This is a very off-the-cuff, no script, whatever type of thing here. I'm not going to bother doing a whole lot with this. So that means we can see how the competitive scene in console Gundam Evolution evolves and how it will be played, which will be very interesting to see. Now, on to the big star of the show here that's been kind of causing a lot of issues. This guy, Susano, or you know, Susan, or Owo, whichever one you want to use. For starters, he has 1100 HP, which, considering that Zaku Melee has I think the same amount, 12 or 1200. Barbados has 1100 and Axia has 800, and this is supposed to be the Axia counter. This HP pool is way too fucking high. Next, 2 boost gauge. That kind of doesn't matter. Third, I don't know. I'm not keeping track. It does 150 base, and it has a second attack which can do 150 base on left click, and does knockback. And it swings really fast. So, you know, by itself with these, it's really not that bad, right? You know, you do that, whatever. But then, let's continue on. We don't need to see that. This is the right click, I think, beam chakram? What they call it? Yes. The beam chakram, where it hits twice. Once for 200, shooting it out, and another for 200 coming back. This also pierces, so if you have multiple enemies lined up in a row, it'll hit all of them for 200 coming at them, and then 200 coming back, which means you farm ult really fast. On top of that, this also is true damage, so it pierces shield, so that's also really, really, really fun. Not really, because that's kind of painful. Realistically, this should have been doing something like 50 or 75 damage, but here we are with 400 damage right off the bat with 150 with 300 autos, so that's the thing. That already puts you over 100, 300. Or that already puts you almost close to the 800 HP threshold with just two with just 2 skills, with just 1 skill and autos alone. Again, it's not like the autos take that long to come out anyways. And yeah, you can't use it unless it's fully charged, but you know, it's not, again, it doesn't take that long. It's like 2 seconds to charge. So like that. And this one. We have active skill 1, which I think is the E. Let me see. Yes. This is the E ability. The, what is it? High speed melee attack. Which is just basically Axia's, what is it? Cross/E, what is it? E skill or F skill? I can't remember. But basically it's the F skill. And so basically this is just an ability you already kind of have in your base kit that lets you like hone in and like close in on enemies. This also sits for 200. If I'm correct. Check. Yes. This hits for 200, and if an enemy is slowed, which also the beam chakram also slows, means that you will also do more damage. So instead of doing 200, you will do 300, which that alone already puts you over, puts it to 700, and the autos. Now you're reaching 1000. Which I'll get to my thoughts about that, but you know, we're there. And where's the F? The F is Try Punisher. This has a set duration, and when you activate it, well, has a pretty long range and can slow, and does 250. So in total, you have autos that do 300, the E skill that does 200 or 300, the right click that does 300, and this Try Punisher which does 250. Doing all of this puts you like doing just the skills alone puts you at 1100. Putting in the autos puts you at 1400, which will literally insta kill a Sazabi. And it's not like these skills take that long to use anyways. So it's fun. And yeah, it has a pretty wide area of effect, which is also nice. Oh yeah, and you can kind of see it there where it's like, yeah, look, 1250. I'll kind of get into that. Oh yeah, and also this. The big part of this character. I fight to live. Where anytime Susano gets an assist kill or a kill, why is it assist kills? It gains 400 points of armor. Which is very funny because this thing literally becomes unkillable if you pair it up with also, I don't know, Uni or Dom. Or both. And then you just cry about it. Which is fun. And this is, in fact, the reason why this unit is banned in the CIL right off the bat, even though it's not released, because this kind of shakes up the meta too much. Way too much. Look at that, 1500 HP. Like, that's not okay. Again, all of these pierce, so, yep, look at that. Tune up to 1800, and nobody's happy about this, and then we get to Transam, because we haven't even gone to that yet. Skip a bit here. Oh, I went back. So, you know, Susano has Transam. Just like any other 00 suit, like Axia and Dynamis. But now, instead of doing 300 for 2 swings, it will swing only once and do 360 and have the knockback. That's a 60 damage increase, and that's not fucking okay at all. So that's fun. Let's see. And then the beam chakram instead will shoot out 2 instead of 1, each doing 200 damage, which instantly fucking kills, what is it? Any 800 HP unit. So think of your Axias, think of your unicorns. Anybody that can be hit by this will be absolutely fucking obliterated, which is crazy because these slow. So it's really not that hard to do this. On top of all the other shit that Susano does, which leads to just units insta-dying anyways. And just, reading this real quick. And then, what is it? I don't care about this anymore. Try Punisher now, the F skill. Has a lower cooldown and now hits for 350. Wait, is that normal? I think that's still normal. I think it just has the lower cooldown, which is crazy. And not good. Because for me, honestly, the cooldown wasn't even that bad. Where the fuck is Try Punisher? Yeah, no, it got 100 extra points of damage, which is, again, fun. But again, this is Scuff. I don't care if it's Scuff. 6. It's also on a 4-second cooldown instead. Which is, again, great. And now, because it's also Trans Am, and they want to give the ability, the dash ability, more utility. During Trans Am, like Axia, you can use the movement ability twice. So the high-speed melee attack can be used twice in a row, which means you can do, what is it? A lot of stupid Axia attacks in Trans Am, which is fun. On top of also just having better utility because it slows instead of stuns. And it slows for longer instead of stunning 0.25 seconds, which is great. And like Axia, it goes from 6 seconds to 5, which is very funny because Axia's dash goes from 12 seconds to 5 seconds, and again, it's really painful to use a 12-second dash skill. And that's kind of where the issue comes in, where these numbers are way too high, and it one-shots really easily. Really easily. Whereas, this is kind of impromptu here. Let me bring up Axia on the Gundam Evolution database. And I can weep and fucking cry about this shit, because I am, like, kind of coping, seething, and molding about this shit. Axia does, what is it, 150 per dagger. Well, no, does 100 per dagger, so 300 damage for one burst, which shoots really slowly, and 150 on crit, leading to 450. Okay, so that seems high on paper. This also seems high on paper, 300 damage. But here's the issue, where it takes 1.4 seconds to do that. Meanwhile, Susano doesn't really have to worry about any sort of delay to get to like near 700 damage. This doesn't do any damage, long as cooldown as well. And this only does 230. Whereas comparatively, Susano has a chakram that hits for 400, essentially. Autos that hit for 300. I think, Tri Punisher that hits for like what? 250. And another one that hits for 300. And people were telling me, right, that Axia shouldn't kill one case because they want to get rid of one-shots. Meanwhile, this motherfucker can one-shot a Sazabi given enough time. Y'all are fucking stupid. Like, I'll just say that. Like, you can't fucking tell me that Axia shouldn't be able to kill nearly half the roster when, what is it, Susano exists. So that's a fucking thing. And then now we go into the balance adjustments, which is the other half of this fucking update, which also makes me cry. So, Marsai actually just in general gets a buff. The bullet size is now larger, so you actually hit more in general. And now the stab changes from a stab into like a swipe, kind of like how Axia swipes with the spin slash, which makes hitting the combo easier. But you still have to hit the hook, but you know, that's not really an issue with it because hook has a really long range and yeah, it's hard to hit, but like once you hit it, you're pretty much guaranteed it now. Can't whiff it. Gundam gets the bullet size increase. This is basically for most of the marksmans. GM gets the bullet size increase, and also, what is it? Shield units also get, what is it? A fuel efficiency increase, I suppose. Time to start the gauge recovery after a boost step is 0.33. This makes G-dashing better. And boost gauge recovery while using a shield goes from 45% to nearly full speed. So like how you would G-dash in the past, you can just, you know, pull your shield up and you'll recover fuel at the same rate. This unit, Sazabi, is a travesty. So let me read this out. The boost gauge recovery speed while using shields will be made the same as the normal speed as well. In addition, since its main weapon is more specialized for melee than other shield units, you will lower the damage of it and lengthen its cooldown as well, since the impact of the gauge adjustment on mobility will be far greater for it than other units. This is bullshit. You know, same thing as GM here, so, you know, just better overall. But 26 to 24 means it can still theoretically kill down units, but it really can't. Beam Tomahawk goes from 7 to 9, so that's fun. That means Saws can play less aggressively, and the homing boost as well goes from 8 to 10. This in general heavily neuters Saws, but you still need Saws because Saws is still the best frontliner with 2800 HP. Hyperion, on the other hand, gets a massive fucking nerf, which 1000 to 900 was already kind of a huge nerf as is, because it makes Hyperion just, again, the primary Axia target now, because, yeah, Axia can now kill this guy again. But on the other hand, Armure Lumiere goes from 2000 to 1500. And if you've ever used this character, you know that despite the durability being high, this thing blows up really fucking fast. So now that it takes less shots to kill this, means that, like, Hype really can't do a whole lot than compared to what it used to before. What the devs say about this, also by the way, they haven't playtested Susano or the upcoming changes towards headquarters. I forgot to mention that, but that's a thing, so that's fun. In addition, we'll also adjust the HP and the defensive performance of the Armure Lumiere to reduce the impact of it to improve mobility and the impact on its current win rate. This is literally too much. If this went down by 250, this would be okay, but it's not okay. This is not good. Genomexia. In order to better balance the mobility of this unit, the boost step recovery will be fine-tuned to slightly increase the difficulty of disengaging battles without using skills. This literally changes nothing. Like, the boost gauge recovery was already pretty dog shit. making almost a full fucking second, whatever. 0.15 seconds is like nothing. Comparatively to Barbatos, where this is literally 0.25. Like this, my friends, is actually fucking awful. As an Axia main, I'm not hurt by this. As a Bard main, everybody's hurt by that. Like, if you're a Bard main, however, you're hurt by this a lot. I'll just say this right now. Guntech needed this. I don't fucking care. The way people play Guntech is so fucking annoying, so trolly, so degenerate. Like if you're a casual and you like Guntech, good on you. Like, a Guntech at a casual level is literally whatever, but at a high level, in ranked or in quote-unquote tournament play, this thing is awful to fight against. And I am thankful that Guntech finally got some nerfs. The Guntech's ability to contest with mobile suits will remain the same. Its HP will be reduced so that it won't be too strong against ranged units. One's also a lie, they don't play their own game. So, Guntech loses 100 HP. This means it could be one-shot by snipers. This also means, just in general, it's easier to kill this thing, so that, what is it? Axia doesn't fucking auto-die to seeing this unit. This is technically a, what is it? A nerf. I don't know why they put it as a buff, but whatever. Charge, the dash skill that blocks bullets, lasts shorter now, going from 2 seconds to 1.4 seconds. Meaning now that Guntechs can't cheese as fucking hard as they used to with the skill. And also, Guntech won't be getting the G maneuver as often since it's going from 73 to 78. Which, considering that this unit does no fucking damage anyways, is good. Because I don't want people playing this character. This character is literally the most annoying thing. I mean, that's a lie. People can still play this character. I just don't want the stupid Guntechs that are just like spamming jump, holding left click, and just making things worse for everybody. Now we come to Turnage Gundam, who literally didn't deserve any of this. But because of how Turnage is played in JP, they're just doubling down on the fact that Turnage is only used for Moonbeam and just making Turnage in general more killable. The dev's reason for this: we will decrease the magazine size for the beam rifle and lower the unit's HP to make it harder to achieve Moonbeam Butterfly, since the unit's win rate is still very high. On the other hand, the amount of points required to activate the Moonlit Butterfly will also be reduced, so that the above changes don't cause a Turnage to not get its G maneuver at all. So yes, it goes from 9700 to 9k, which in theory is good, but the problem is, you're now shooting 5 shots instead of 6, and Turnage was already having a hard time to build his ult. On top of the fact that you literally actually just fucking die to everything. When Axia comes at turn A, it literally only takes 20 damage to kill the thing now. That is fun. This basically makes turn A useless. Because now turn A can't even do the thing it was supposed to do, which was just get Moonbeam, because yes, the ult threshold was lowered, but at the same time you're reloading more often, which means less overall ult charge buildup. And also Turnage just dies faster. So good job, devs. You really made sure that Turnage was like in a quote-unquote good spot. New didn't really get a whole lot. It got the Marksman change, bullet size. But on the other hand, it can no longer, put funnels on super armored units. So you think your Turnage, think your, your Zaku melees and your GMs. This doesn't really affect a whole lot. This really only affects the, new versus Zaku melee matchup, but even then that came up very little. Ashmore. In order to make it easier to engage in battle, the cooldown of Ashmore skills will be reduced. Damage numbers will be adjusted to make sure Ashmore isn't overpowered. So it's essentially just a, what is it? A revert with a lower cooldown. Then the damage is basically going from its high 22 damage per second to its 19 per second, which was, if I'm correct, its damage before. But means that like Ashmore now can spam mollies more often, which means, especially in tournament play, Ashmore becomes even more of a zoner. This is actually a net buff and not a nerf. Methus. I don't even want to like describe this because why the fuck is gun turn going from 9 to 12? You literally nerfed Methus' turret to make a DPS Methus. Why? This doesn't help with people picking up Methus at all now, because the only saving grace now is literally for Nano, but even then it takes fucking forever, because look at this, 12 seconds. I'm not reading it. This. I will go over this last, because this has a whole host of issues. A whole host of them. Dynamis just gets an HP increase, which doesn't really do a whole lot because Dynamis will still fucking die to I don't know, Axia or like anybody else. They need to update this to 1000 to really make this a meaningful difference, but sure. Let's up it to 900. Others. Nothing. Map adjustments. Don't know what this means. We'll have to see this. Thermal plant, however, gets a change where all the low-hanging ceilings, as you can see in these pictures here, were just removed, which makes it so much easier to actually do things in this map. This is a really good change because navigating in thermal plant was a pain in the fucking ass. So thank you, Bamco. But yeah, it still doesn't change the fact that Susano is a stupid fucking unit. I don't even see the difference here. I'm sure there is. I just don't fucking see it. Don't know what this means. Also this. Buried City, aka Headquarters changes. So, Headquarters rule revisions. The following adjustments have been made due to matches lasting longer than expected. The following adjustments have been made to shorten the length of each match by increasing the importance of each round. The victory condition has been changed to 3 points. 4-phase timer has been extended. Area phase timer has been extended. The amount of time required to secure the target area has been extended. Increase the core's durability value. To reward the attacking team, the defending team will no longer obtain a point if the core is at least half destroyed. In conjunction with this adjustment, the headquarters rule is now matching for casual matches only. Reminder that they haven't playtested this, so we're the lab rats for this. This also puts no emphasis on defense, which is really fucking annoying, but sure, we will see how this goes. And the amount of rate fluctuation will be strongly influenced by the level of your activity during the match. We'll continue to monitor the impact of the change and make periodic adjustments as necessary. So I think if you're actually like doing things, you'll gain more, but I'm not too sure what this is. I'll make the Susano versus Axia comparison in a bit. I need to go over the sniper changes now, because this is very loaded and very stupid. Sniper. In order to differentiate it from Gundam Dynamis, GM Sniper 2 will be changed to be able to snipe in the air, allowing it to better utilize the jump booster. Additionally, the survivability of sniping will be improved since the win rate of sniper units were trending low. Gee, I wonder why. It's almost as if this is a high skill, high reward unit, and it's a very situational unit. Unlike with Dynamis, this actually does matter because the boost gauge goes from 1 to 2. And here's the problem with that. Sniper already had an amazing G-dash. Now that you give it 2 bars, it now means that Sniper has 3 astonishingly good G dash instead of one, like, amazing one. Which means that this 900 HP matters more because Sniper can just get away scot-fucking free. It can also now hover for longer, like how Ashmore can hover. Sniper change to be able to aim in the air by consuming boost gauge. Scoping in the air will not be possible unless a certain amount of boost gauge remains. It will continue to consume more boost gauge if you hold the scope state. Aiming in the air concerns amount of certain boost gauge. Apology maneuver is acted. Aiming in the air will not consume boost gauge. So basically, you can do the thing that you used to only be able to do in ult, and now when you're in ult, you don't consume boost gauge. This makes Sniper really, really, really fucking overpowered. And leads to a lot of fucking issues. I don't know why Bamco did this, but sure. We can fucking make a game without playtesting our shit and put it onto the players, expecting them to be happy with the updates they give us. We give them, I guess, from the developer's point of view. So that's nice. Now on to the last thing. Susano versus Axia. I don't know if I need to tell you this already, but Susano kind of invalidates Barbados. Why do I say it invalidates Barbados instead of Axia? Well, because the Axia versus Barbados matchup was balanced around the fact that while Axia has better mobility, it has longer cooldowns and also does no fucking damage. Meanwhile, Barbados has shorter cooldowns, is only limited to melee range, and does more fucking damage. And also has 2 fucking stuns. So which led, in general, the Barbados winning out more in more 1v1s because, oh, look at that. The unit with the longer cooldowns kind of lost the battle because, I don't know, the dash was on 12 seconds and Axia only does 980. Meanwhile, with Susano, the cooldowns are like Barbados's, where they're at most 7 seconds or like 6 seconds. It also has another thing like Barbados, where it does a fucking ton of damage, 1400 to be exact, so it actually like one-shots Sazabi. And it just in general has Axia style movement. So you get the best of both worlds in one unit without any sort of downside whatsoever. Sure, you have less dashes than Axia, but that doesn't matter when Axia can't even fucking kill Susano. If Susano had 800 HP and still had the numbers it had, it would be kind of okay because at least Axia and Barb would be able to kill it. You can't kill this thing. If it has 1100 HP, the only thing that realistically can kill this thing with one shot reliably is Sniper. And because this thing's even more of a fucking fly than Axia, you actually need to rely on Marsai to hook this thing in order to invalidate and continue playing this game. And this, folks, is why in the CIL, this unit, Susano, is already fucking banned. Thank you, Bamco, for not playing your own fucking video game. On top of all the rest of this shit, which is, again, shit, I will also just, I guess, briefly go over the release notes. Check real quick about dev blogs. Haven't done one in forever. Yes, sir. They don't care. We get some, what is it? I think this is, what is it? A login thing? And you get the, yeah. You can get the Plane Strider for Axia and GM. Which look nice, but I'm still going to use Turbulence. There's this. I think this is the this is also another login. No, you play for these. Login, you get some CP, you get tickets, you get skins for Susano. Get 250 from this. 50. 375, 500. Like, You're actually getting quite a bit this time. The season pass skins look alright. I need to look at all of them to see what I'm actually going to buy this. New shop stuff. This is the Scars repair, which awful. And I would rather still use Turbulence. There's some other stuff that references things which I don't understand. Unit Pack Storm, which has some okay. I mean, they look pretty nice. You also get Susano, but again, really fucking annoying that this guy's overpowered. We also get, what is it here? Obsidian Armor Axia, which looks really nice, but there's also just the issue with the Obsidian Armor series in general, where it doesn't really look all that much different from, you know, base Axia, or like with Pale Rider, it doesn't look anything different from base Pale. So yeah, and you know, gold skin, bunch of stuff. And that's about it. The rest of this is for console. And so that's kind of like my overall thoughts on Season 5. Like, I don't know what else to say. I fucking hate this season. I barely have a reason to play it, but it's a reason nonetheless, right? If you stuck around for 36 minutes, holy fuck, you're crazy. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on Twitch so I can get to like 300 followers or something. I have a Twitter, I have a Discord. I don't know, bro. Fuck this.